John Herdman has just announced his 26-man roster for Canada heading into World Cup 2022 Qatar for the first time for our nation since 1986. And he's truly announced an amazing roster for Canada heading into this World Cup, with truly no big surprises or omissions outside of the likes of Daniil Henry, left out due to an injury, and outside of that, maybe Theo Corbeanu for Blackpool. Outside of that, it's a brilliant squad John Herdman has called up, and we're going to be taking a deep dive and look at the squad he's announced, breaking down each position, talking about every player that's come to the World Cup for Canada, as well as my general thoughts on everyone who's going and the players who have missed as well. But guys, before we do that, make sure to drop down below, smash that sub button, drop a like, and let me know what you guys think about the squad down below in the comments, and we're going to swiftly move into things. And first of all, list everyone who's going to the World Cup. Of course, our goalkeepers are Milan Boyan at number 1, Dane Sinclair and James Pantemis. With our defenders, of course, our center backs leading the way of Steven Vittoria, Derek Cornelius, Joel Waterman, and Kamal Miller. Our fullbacks are Sam Adekubi, Richie Larea, and Alistair Johnston. In the midfield, we have the likes of Stefan Eustachio, Atiba Hutchinson, Samuel Piette, Jonathan Osorio, Ismail Kone, David Witherspoon, Mark Anthony Kay, and Liam Frazier. Up front, we have the likes of Liam Miller, Tajon Buchanan, Junior Hoylett, Alfonso Davies, Lucas Cavallini, Kyle Larin, Jonathan David, and Ike Ogbo. Those are our 26-man men going to the World Cup, leading Canada, leading our nation in one dream to win the World Cup, or at least inspire the nation and make us proud. This is probably the exact squad, the right squad that Herdman's bringing down. No players that you can argue should be out of this squad. No players you can fully say 100% missed out. Yes, Corbeanu missed out, but he didn't 100% get in over any of these forwards, in my opinion. I think he's brilliant, one of the best leagues in the world, but he truly, at this point in time, can't argue that he should have a spot over Miller, Buchanan, Hoylett, or Davies, all those wingers. He is on the right track and will be a player for the likes of the Gold Cup coming up in the summer, for the likes of the Nations League as well. Theo Corbeanu is a guy for this next cycle coming up, and he's, of course, going to be a big part in the next World Cup coming up as well. Of course, a big omission in the center backs is Daniil Henry. Everyone expected him to come, everyone expected him to be there, but that injury due to his hamstring, he has so many recurring injuries, and he was injured once again in that Bahrain match. Yes, it was a horrible pitch, it played into that, but he always has that injury, and he's been forced out due to injury. But Herdman said it was one of the biggest calls he's ever had to make in his coaching career, and he made it, leaving Daniil Henry out of this roster. And he has announced that he will be bringing him on as kind of a coaching role, kind of a player coach, but he is not able to play as well as he's not part of this roster. But he said he will be a player who is able to listen to the players, hear from their side of view, be able to really relate to what they're doing, as well as be able to tell Herdman how it is in the squad as well. So it's amazing to bring Daniil Henry. It's a great piece of coaching by the likes of John Herdman to bring Daniil Henry, to have him on the bench, to have him as a coaching role as well. He said of course, we know he's a great leader, he's a great member of the Brotherhood, and he's a huge part of the World Cup qualifying. So no matter what, it was a great move from John Herdman, but I don't think he would have been, even if he was fit, deserved to be a part of that center back group, because these center backs were brilliant. I'm going to quickly go down the key players, or some of the guys that I just want to talk about massively, because in a different video, I'm going to do a breakdown of each position, the likes of the goalkeepers, the defenders, the midfielders, and the forwards, or I could also do wingers and fullbacks as well. We'll do that in separate videos leading up to the World Cup, guys. I'm just going to highlight some key players as well. I broke down who is going to World Cup, guys, giving you guys some of my general thoughts. But guys, some standout players here. Milan Boyan. I have to talk about Milan Boyan here. We all know about him, but going to World Cup, there's always that one cult hero, that standout player that the world keeps their eye on. We all know for goalies, the likes of Ochoa from Mexico has always been a standout, from the CONCACAF region in the whole world. Everyone looks at him. I have a friend in England. He even knows about him massively. And this is a player playing in Mexico, Ochoa, who isn't a brilliant goalkeeper. When he comes in the World Cup stage, he stands on his head, and he is brilliant. Because for me, Milan Boyan stands on his head for Canada 24/7. So what he's going to be doing at the World Cup is going to be even better than Ochoa, in my opinion. I think everyone's going to have the eye on Canada. We're one of the most risen teams in the world, one of the best upcoming teams. And Milan Boyan is playing against some of the best teams in the world. He's going to have his eye on him. He's going to face some big shots. I think he's going to impress a lot of people, and he's going to become one of the biggest cult heroes of this World Cup. Of course, it's amazing to see James Pantemis on this roster. It's very unfortunate, like for the likes of Maxime Crépeau putting his body on the line to win the MLS Cup. It just shows how good of a player he is as well. But James Pantemis makes this roster, as well as Dane St. Clair, obvious number 2. For me, it's heartbreaking to see Thomas Hassan not get that 3rd spot. I was really praying he would, as a Saskatchewan native myself. Of course, Saskatoon and everything like that. But unfortunate for Thomas Hassan, it was really an outside chance, but you had to hope. Guys, another player I have to talk about is Steven Vittoria. Steven Vittoria doesn't get talked about enough. He's one of the most underrated players in this national team. For me, when I look at that back line, we saw it against Bahrain. Albeit it was a horrible pitch, it's a terrible field, and it wasn't great playing out of the back. But that back line looked shaky, it didn't look calm, it didn't look composed. When we see Steven Vittoria back there, he is a man mountain. He wins everything in the air. He's not the quickest, albeit. Of course, his age plays a factor in that. But he's still unbelievable in the ball. He's so composed, so calm, able to hit a long ball to the likes of Jonathan David, the likes of Tajon Buchanan and Alphonso Davies. And what he brings his national team does more than stats show. He is a brilliant leader. You can see it on the pitch. He's spoken well. He's such a great player. And he's playing one of the best leagues in the world, probably top 5 in my opinion, playing in Liga NOS, and he is such an amazing player as well, and I think he needs to get more praise than he doesn't get. And Alistair Johnston, this man was playing semi-pro 3 years ago. Alistair Johnston is truly a key player for Canada, a versatile rock. This man plays right wing back, right back, center back. The fact that we can line up in a 4 and a back with Alistair Johnston at right back, having Adekubi on the left and 2 center backs in the middle, and we're able to switch to 3 in the back with Alistair as well. And then you can play a 5, you can play a 3, you can play a 5-2-3, you can play a 4-3-3, you can play a 4-4-2. With Alistair Johnston, he is a key pin in this roster that I don't think a lot of nations really focus on, because his skill and talent isn't unbelievable. But what he brings you, not on the ball and off the ball as well, he is unbelievable as well, and he is such an exciting talent. Moving on to midfielders, Ismail Kone. For me, Ismail Kone has to be talked about here. I know I talk about him all the time because he's such an exciting player, but Ismail Kone has to start the World Cup. He has to start against Japan. He's an X-Factor player. I know a lot of people are iffy on if he starts. For me, it's either him or Jonathan Osorio. Ismail Kone is truly a brilliant player. He's an X-Factor player. He's in the next Alphonso Davies. He's getting moved to a top 5 league after this World Cup. It's a given. More than likely league or the likes of the Bundesliga. But Ismail Kone is a dynamic player on the ball. He's very explosive. He can play in a box-to-box midfielding role. You know he's going to put everything out there and play for the shirt no matter what. And he is going to chase down that midfield. I think we need a bit of pace in that midfield. Stefan Eustáquio, Tiba Hutchinson aren't the fastest. And I think if you put Ismail Kone in there, you got a bit more speed. You can keep up with the likes of a Modric, or Kovacic and a Brozovic, or a Kevin De Bruyne and a Yuri Tielemans. You can keep up with them a bit more. So I think he might be a key player. Another player I have to talk about is Liam Frazier. For me, I talked about yesterday in my 5 things I learned from the Bahrain match. Liam Frazier had to be in the squad. What he brings Canada is amazing. Everyone looks at him now, you probably think he's a bit older. Yes, he's playing the Belgian second division, but he's only 24 years of age. He's still such a young player. He's had so many ups and downs in his career, and I think he can earn himself a transfer after this World Cup. Even just being on the squad is a huge boost to himself and his career. We saw in just a video breaking from the Canada Soccer that he was in tears seeing himself in the World Cup squad. He deserves this. He was brilliant against Bahrain, his little cameo. But he's the only one that brings any kind of level close to Stefan Eustáquio. His passing range is sublime. He's able to control and slow down the speed of the game. He can knock it around. He has great football intelligence from what I can see. He knows when to slow down, knows when to pick up the pace. He's the only player for me that looks close to Stefan Eustáquio, which is a key aspect to Liam Frazier. Quickly looking at the forwards before we wrap up things here, guys. A couple of guys I got a key here is 2 players. Tajon Buchanan and Ike Ogbo. I'm not going to look at David or Davies. We all know what they are. Everyone's shocked that Davies is lined up as a forward. You know, if you're not a CONCACAF fan. If you're not a CONCACAF fan, everyone is confused why he's listed as a forward. But we won't dwell on that. Ike Ogbo for me, I want to talk about first before Tajon. Ike Ogbo was a Chelsea Academy player playing for the English. And he is an England boy as well, but he was a dual national. And John Herdman did brilliant work and bringing him in. And I think he hasn't got enough game time with 12 this year in Liga, but he's still a brilliant striker. He brings Canada a lot on the pitch as well. I think he's another X factor coming off the bench, can offer us a lot in the air, as well as some speed in behind and controlling the ball, playing a great 1-2. He's a lot like Kyle Larin, I've noticed as well. I think Ike Ogbo is a very hidden talent for Canada. But our big X factor on the right wing, everyone's going to be dwelled on Alphonso Davies on the left, Jonathan David in the middle. Everyone needs to watch Tajon Buchanan. Such a dynamic, exciting player for Club Brugge who can play right wing back, play right back, of course, is our right winger and looks exciting and such a brilliant talent for Canada. He's going to be amazing at this World Cup and a true X factor. A player that people won't really keep a lock on or won't really have their eyes on, but he's going to be a player that unlocks defenses for Canada in this World Cup, and especially against Japan and Belgium leading into this World Cup. Let me know what you guys think about the squad for Canada. We're going to do a breakdown of each position heading into the World Cup. Of course, goalkeepers and center backs, of course, fullbacks if you guys as well, or we do them separate categories. Let me know what you guys think. We're going to be doing a breakdown of every position as well as Canadian men's national team news videos every day. Let me know what you guys think about the squad announcement today, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.